Welcome back to All About Libs. In today's episode, we're going to talk about alloy 718, a nickel-based alloy. Now, in today's episode, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to take a look at this reference sample, and we're going to take a look at a certified chemistry sheet, as well as two different scrap parts that I received that were unknown at the time. One's got cobalt written on it, the other one's got INCO written on it, INCO being a trademark name for 718. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay guys, so first up is the 718 reference sample. So I want to show you the cert for the sample first, which is right here. I just put it on the analyzer so you could see it. Our primary alloying elements in this case are chrome, over here at about 17.7%, niobium at 5.04%, and then we've got molybdenum over here at 2.89, and then there's a little bit of iron in this alloy around 18.6%. So now let's just do a live test here and see how that compares to what we get on this 718 sample. So we're doing the test. Okay, so up here in the upper right, I've got a 1.00, 100% match. That just means that this alloy is within the chemical bounds of 718. But as we discussed, chrome as 17.1 is what I read here, about 17% iron, niobium being 5.05%, moly being about 3%, and that little bit of titanium at about 1.01%. I think the published value for titanium is 0.95%, so pretty close. So this is a great way to test knowns, so we know what this chemistry is, and we can kind of compare to that, and that's what's typically done in the industry. So let's test those couple of scrap pieces. Okay guys, so first up I have this ball valve. Now this is an INCONEL 718 ball valve. I mean, that's the point of the show today, but let's prove that. So you can see that I've ground a spot here. It just takes me a second to do that. I ground a little bit more to make it easier for me to shoot the video, but typically you could even shoot this edge with handheld libs. You've seen me do that on alloys in the past. But you'll see the color difference. This white pure metal and this oxidation. Typically cleaning the samples when they come out of service is a really good idea. If you're going to test this material, you just approach it with the analyzer like this, and I'm actually hitting the spot that we prepared, that we ground a little bit. There you go. And then boom. Okay, so here we have 100% match to 718. Now that's sorting a scrap part that we didn't know the alloy. Somebody wrote on it with they put INCO on it, but at the same time we're able to see what that chemistry is. Now I don't know the actual chemistry of this part, but we do know that that part is with 100% confidence is 718. Anyways, let's take a look at one other part. So we have a bushing here. Now this bushing, you can see cobalt written on the side, but let's find out what this really is. Now you'll notice again I've got that extensive oxidation here, that black and dark coating on the outside. I've ground through that in a couple of spots just to make the testing easier, including this flat face on the top. It's nice to be able to find flat faces when you're doing sample testing like this. It's a repeatable place to get a result. Certainly not required, but actually very nice. So, all right, so 718, INCONEL 718, or alloy 718 as we call it in our gun. You can see that the chrome, iron, niobium, moly, titanium, they're all right in that range, pretty tight range for this grade. Over here, we've got 100% match. So we know this is not cobalt, that this is a 718. So these parts, all these parts actually, these come out of high temperature applications or corrosion applications where that nickel really helps them survive their environment, and they're common in the scrap industry, and this is big money for the scrap industry because of the high nickel content. So as you just saw, alloy 718 is easily sortable with handheld libs. Now the reference sample that we did is typical to the other reference samples that you see on the show, where it's a relatively clean metal, easy to see, and I actually have the chemistries for most of these grades. I don't always show them, but I try to show you guys that the alloy is at least written on the sample so you know what we're working with. And in today's episode, we also covered a couple different scrap parts. Now this was the little ball valve that had INCO written on the side. Now you know that it's a 718 part. We can sort that and get the maximum value for that part. This little bearing, had cobalt written on the side. We know this is not cobalt. This is INCONEL or alloy 718, and it needs to be sorted as such. If you learned something in today's video, hit that like button. If you have been enjoying the content to this channel, please subscribe. And as always, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.